Have you ever wondered if witches truly rode on broomsticks under the moonlight? From the eerie tales spun around campfires to the pages of ancient texts, witches have captivated our imaginations for centuries. They've become symbols of power, magic, and often fear. These enigmatic figures have permeated folklore and mythology across a plethora of cultures, often representing the misunderstood, the outcast, or the divine. In some societies they were revered as wise healers, while in others they were shunned or even hunted. Their stories are as diverse as they are intriguing, filled with tales of healing and harm, love and loathing, power and persecution. They've been the subjects of superstition and speculation, painted as both heroines and villains. But who were these figures really? What is the truth behind the myths and misconceptions? How have they evolved over the centuries? So let's uncover the truth behind these fascinating figures, journeying from past to present. The term witch wasn't always associated with evil, as we often perceive it today. In the time-worn civilizations of the ancient world, the conception of a witch was markedly different. The earliest known records of witches come from the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, where they were considered healers and seers, endowed with an intimate knowledge of nature and its secrets. They were the wise women and men of their communities, often sought after for their ability to mend ailments, both physical and spiritual. In ancient Egypt, witches were revered for their knowledge of magic, or Heka, as they called it. Heka was not seen as something sinister, but was considered a natural force that permeated the world. Witches were the masters of Heka, using it to maintain cosmic balance and harmony. They were the intermediaries between the mortal world and the divine, calling upon the gods to intervene when necessary. Similarly, in ancient Greece, witchcraft was not so much a cause for alarm, but a facet of everyday life. The Greek witches, known as pharmakeia, were skilled in the art of potions and healing herbs. They were the apothecaries of their time, using their knowledge to cure diseases and soothe pain. However, as we move into the Middle Ages, the perception of witches began to shift dramatically. The rise of Christianity and its monotheistic doctrine clashed with the polytheistic and pagan beliefs of old. Witches, once seen as healers and intermediaries, were now painted in a more sinister light. Their practices were no longer viewed as beneficial, but as heresy. This shift in perception marked the beginning of a dark period in the history of witchcraft, where fear and suspicion reigned supreme. As centuries passed, the perception of witches underwent a dark transformation. In the late Middle Ages, the witch became a figure of fear and persecution. This period, spanning from the 15th to the 18th centuries, was marked by a frenzied witch hunt across Europe and America. Thousands of individuals, predominantly women, were accused of witchcraft and faced dire consequences. So, what sparked this hysteria? A complex interplay of social, cultural, and even economic factors contributed to the witch hunts. The period was fraught with political turmoil, religious upheaval, and societal change. As people grappled with these uncertainties, fear and superstition took hold. Witches, with their supposed supernatural abilities, became convenient scapegoats. They were blamed for everything from failed crops to deadly diseases. In the throes of this paranoia, infamous witch trials took place. The most notorious of these were the Salem witch trials in Massachusetts. In the year 1692, over 200 people were accused and 19 were hanged. The trials were a stark demonstration of the power of mass hysteria and the tragic consequences of unfounded fear. Across the Atlantic, Europe was no stranger to witch trials. In the German city of Bamberg, for instance, the mayor, Johannes Junius, was falsely accused and executed for witchcraft in 1628. His heartbreaking letters to his daughter are a chilling reminder of the personal tragedies within the larger narrative of the witch hunts. But the witch hunts weren't solely about fear, they were also about control. Women who didn't conform to societal norms, who were outspoken or independent, were often targeted. The witch hunts then served to reinforce patriarchal structures and gender norms. The witch hunts left a lasting impact on society, further shrouding witches in fear and mystery. Even today, the term witch hunt is synonymous with unfair persecution and the dangers of mass hysteria. The echoes of these historical events continue to reverberate through time, reminding us of the power of fear and the importance of critical thinking. Despite their dark past, witches found a new identity in the pages of books and on the silver screen. The Wicked Witch with her green skin and pointy hat might be the first image that pops into your mind when you think of a witch, thanks to the influence of the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz. This character, with her cackling laugh and her army of flying monkeys, solidified a certain stereotype of witches in popular imagination as malevolent, power-hungry creatures. However, as we moved further into the 20th century, a shift occurred. Witches started to be portrayed in a more nuanced and often positive light in literature and pop culture. Take the case of Harry Potter, a series that introduced us to a whole range of witch characters, from the wise and benevolent Hermione Granger and Minerva McGonagall to the complex and misunderstood Severus Snape. These characters, with their depth and diversity, reshaped our understanding of witches. They showed us that witches could be heroes, villains, mentors, and friends. They could be brave, kind, clever, or ambitious. They could be just like us. And it's not just Harry Potter. In The Witches of Eastwick, witches are portrayed as independent women, asserting their power in a patriarchal society. In practical magic, they are symbols of female solidarity and resilience. In Charmed, they are defenders of the innocent, using their powers to protect those who can't protect themselves. These modern portrayals of witches have turned the tables on the old stereotypes. They have turned witches from feared outcasts into role models, from villains into heroes. They have shown us that being a witch can mean being powerful, being independent, being different. In fact, some argue that the modern witch has become a feminist icon, a symbol of empowerment for those who refuse to conform to societal norms. They represent the power of women, the power of the different, and the power of the outsider. Through these stories, witches have become a symbol of empowerment and rebellion against societal norms. Today, the term witch has taken on a whole new meaning. It's not about the pointed hat, the broomstick, or the bubbling potion anymore. Instead, it has evolved into a symbol of nature, feminism, and self-expression. This metamorphosis is due to the rise of a modern movement often referred to as Wicca. Wicca, a contemporary pagan and witchcraft religion, has been gaining momentum since the mid-20th century. Its origins can be traced back to England, where it was introduced to the public by Gerald Gardner, a civil servant and amateur anthropologist. Despite its relatively recent inception, Wicca has managed to permeate society on a global scale, with followers in every corner of the world. The essence of Wicca is its reverence for nature. Wiccans view nature not merely as a backdrop to human activity, but as a living, breathing entity to be respected and cherished. They celebrate the cycles of the moon and the changing of the seasons, finding spiritual fulfillment in the rhythm of the natural world. Wicca is also known for its strong feminist underpinnings. In stark contrast to many conventional religions, it venerates the divine feminine and often places female deities at the center of its spiritual practices. This aspect of Wicca has made it particularly appealing to those seeking an alternative to patriarchal religious structure. Perhaps most importantly, Wicca encourages self-expression. Wiccans are free to shape their spiritual journey in a way that resonates with their individual beliefs and experiences. There's no rigid dogma or set of rules to follow. This flexibility has contributed to the steady growth of the movement, as more and more people are drawn to its inclusive and empowering ethos. Through Wicca, the image of the witch has undergone a dramatic transformation. The once feared figure of the witch has become a symbol of freedom, self-determination, and empowerment. Witches are no longer the outcasts lurking in the shadows. They are strong, confident individuals who embrace their unique path and stand tall in their truth. In the modern world, witches are no longer figures of fear, but symbols of freedom and empowerment. From ancient healers to feared outcasts to beloved characters and modern-day symbols of empowerment, the journey of witches through history is a fascinating one. We've journeyed together through time, beginning with the ancient world where witches were respected healers and seers. We then navigated the dark era of witch hunts, a time marred by fear and misunderstanding, and witnessed the scapegoating of innocent lives. We saw the transformation of the witch archetype in literature and pop culture, where witches morphed from wicked crones to complex, multifaceted characters, and in our current times we've observed the resurgence of witchcraft, not as a feared occult, but as a form of empowerment and connection to nature. This journey through the world of witches is a testament to the power of transformation, resilience, and the human spirit. As we continue to redefine what it means to be a witch, one thing is certain. The world of witches will always be shrouded in mystery and intrigue.